And welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, just welcome. Question. Did anybody keep their high school class rings? Did you keep your high school class ring? Do you know where it's at? Do you have it? I do. It's a funny little story. That is my high school class ring. I absolutely love it. It says Rusty on it. It's got a little tiger, school mascot. It's got a little horsey for equestrian. I used to ride horses. Says Rusty across the top, and it's got a real emerald and a real diamond in it. And it's funny because, like, when the catalogs came for the class ring, you know, I took it home and I want this one. And, you know, and me dad, he was like, what the fuck would you choose the most expensive? Is that why you chose it? Because it's the most expensive. You can't have just a normal class ring? And I'm like, the word normal? You're applying the word normal to me? Like you don't know me? He's like, yeah, but, and what's with the real diamond and a real emerald? What the fuck is that? Well, first, emerald's my birthstone. But it's like, you know, what the fuck is that? Who do you think you are? You know, and I'm like, again, with the rhetorical question, I'm assuming, you know, well, I'm not paying $1,000 for a fucking class ring. And I'm like, well, then I'm going to do all the bratty things that a person who is a brat will do, you know? And my dad was, you know, and then I started guilt tripping him. Like, it's a life thing. Like, it's supposed to be like this really important life thing, you know, your class ring. And so finally he gave in and was like, because I guilt tripped the shit out of him. So, I've always kept it because it means something to me. And that is, I always win. So, we are here tonight to talk about Haunt. Now, Haunt was released in 2019. It's a wonderful modern slasher that I really, really love. And yes, I've still only got the DVD because the Blu-ray is so fucking expensive. I would always like keep going, no, I refuse. But I'm going to break down. I've got it on the list. I'm going to get the Blu-ray on my next shopping trip, especially after rewatching it, because I really, really do love this movie and it deserves to be on Blu-ray in my collection. It was directed by Scott Beck and Bryan Woods. It was written by Scott Beck and Bryan Woods. It stars Katie Stevens, Will Brittain, and Lauryn Alisa McClain. Yes, it does. So, the movie opens, we see, you know, this really weird, good atmospheric music, and we see, obviously, traps being set. And then we are told that we are at an Illinois campus housing where we meet Harper, who is obviously being stalked by her boyfriend. And we meet her friend Bailey, another roommate, who knows that he is abusing her, because just earlier we had seen her like using makeup to cover up a big bruise around her eye, which, you know, you think you could get away with that shit with me? Come on, people. So, she convinces Harper to go out with her. I'm going to have so much trouble. I don't know why, but a girl named Harper, it makes no sense. And I had so much trouble writing it down. Actually, I did try to film this a while ago. I got like 15 minutes in and fucked it up so bad I had to start over because of that. Because in my notes, I don't know why, but every time I would think of her, I would put down Natalie or something, and Harper? Why would you name your daughter Harper? I don't know. We all have our issues. So, anyway, that's just my opinion. So, while we're there, she gets introduced to Nate, and we meet Nate and Ty and Angela and Mallory and Evan, which I wrote, hate that fat fuck. Now, it goes without saying that one of the best, one of the slasher tropes is that you have to have one or two people in the group of pretty people in peril that you absolutely hate and are overjoyed with and completely okay with seeing them get killed. And it took me about 5 seconds after Evan came in and was introduced to the movie. It took me pretty much less than 10 seconds before I was like, that's it. That's the one. That one right there. That fat fuck I want dead. That's just the way things are. So Natalie and Harper begin to talk, and they, I'm like, please God, don't have no romantic subtext. I just can't take it. So I want action. If I want to do that, I'll go fucking rent a Julia Roberts romance movie or something. So they talk, and then they all decide to, she wants to go home, but then they change her mind. They want to go, do something special, go to a haunted house. They're trying to choose which one to go to when Evan had one of those flyers. So they all decide to go to this extreme haunted house, especially after they notice a truck following them. So they go ahead and turn into it. They get there. We meet the clown, who's very, very effective. The cinematography in this movie is really good. So he's very effective, is spooky, and they're not sure, but then they hear people screaming in there. So they're like, yeah, let's do. Any other time of the year, I don't think that would be a come on in feeling that you would get from that. But I guess in a haunted house, it is. So they have to read these rules and fill out a waiver, which includes leaving their mobiles, which I think is really stupid. So they sign the waivers, they leave their mobiles, and they all enter. The first thing that they run across, I really like the way this house is set up, this haunted house. Its maze-like qualities was really cool. They immediately see this little performance art of a witch burning a girl on the face while she screams. Looks very realistic, but of course, it's supposed to be a show. They get to the end of a corridor, and it's safe way, unsafe way. They decide to split up, which is never a good idea in a horror movie. But they do. We have the coffin doors room, which was pretty cool. That was interesting little room. Mallory gets a bunch of spiders dumped on her, which is interesting because she hates spiders, which brings me back to the bar scene. They brought out that big bottle of vodka or something, and it had a fucking tarantula in it or something. And they were like, is that real? And it's like, yeah, it's real. I'm like, is that real, though? Is it real life? Because you're an idiot. I'm not drinking out of a bottle with a dead spider in it. It's just that. What the fuck is wrong with you people out there? I don't know. Again, these are my opinions. So they do that. We have the guess the body part room, which was, I'm not sticking my hand in a hole that I'm not aware of what's on the other side. So just for any future question you may have. So Bailey ends up losing Natalie's ring that she had borrowed. And so she's really trying to get it out, and then her arm gets all slashed up. And that's when everything is okay, some shit's going down, right? Some shit's really going down here. So they go through that little maze crawl. Mallory had disappeared during that. So they can't find Mallory. Her arm gets cut off. You have a devil comes in from the crawl maze. You have the other team. You have Evan and Harper. That was the spot right there because it says Evan and Natalie, and there is no Natalie in this movie, which confused me and made me get discombobulated. So they go down this slide, and they end up running into Nathan, Bailey, and Angela. So Mallory is still missing. We watch a witch then do another piece of performance art as they're going up there. Only this time when she pulls out the body bag, Mallory is in it. And they show her stab Mallory through the head with this big, hot, blazing hot poker. Now everybody freaks out because that arm shit with Bailey was not an accident. And they have just witnessed Mallory get impaled and, stuck through her head. So they're stuck in there. Evan tries to pick the locks, can't. Natalie tries to go, Nathan tries to go further, where he runs into Ghost. And then Ghost acts all like normal, and talks normal, I mean. So he asks for help. He's like, okay, sure. We have Harper talking about her bad childhood with Bailey. Nathan and the Ghost come back and says, well, he can get them out. So they go, and Ghost claims that Mallory is outside waiting for them when they ask about her. So he says that they must go back up the slide. Evan goes. We see Ghost then nail a big piece of plywood over the entrance of that maze. So they're all kind of stuck in there now. Nathan had went in after Evan, yeah. So after following, now Ghost goes after Evan when because Evan makes it through, but nobody else can, because once Evan came out, he had put that plywood over it. So Ghost goes after Evan, and the devil goes after the rest. Of course, Nathan, he's stuck in the crawl space. We see the devil kill Angela with a pitchfork, which was pretty effective. Natalie falls. Natalie. There's no Natalie in this movie, I swear. Nathan falls through the trapdoor in the maze. Evan does make it outside, and Ghost comes to him. And so he's like, where the hell is everybody? You said Mallory was out here. We see the devil now with Harper, and he removes his mask, and that's a freak from hell. For all of you people out there into that kind of stuff, whatever, do it. But I'm going to say my opinion about it. That was a circus freak from hell. So his total face tat freak is what I called him. Clown gets a call because he's down there messing with all their phones. So the clown gets a call from Harper's boyfriend, and Nate shoots the devil who's trying to strangle Harper with a nail gun, which brings back fond memories of the nail gun massacre. There really should be more movies where people use that as a weapon, because that's nasty. That's a nasty killing tool, in my opinion. I would enjoy a faithful remake of, including all the appropriate nudity, from Nail Gun Massacre. I would love a remake of that movie kept in the same spirit, but because of the way it was made, it's probably not possible. I guess you could make a more serious version, but still. That was a side tangent. So, Ghost shows Evan, keeps asking him, does he want to see his face. And that is fucked up. When Ghost shows his real face, that's fucked up. And he kills him and rips his head off. He kills Evan and rips his head off. So I did get my wish as far as that goes. Nathan's alone. Nathan finds Harper's ring. See, I did it again. I put Nat instead of Harper because it just don't register in my mind. So Harper is like stuck in this really escape room type thing with a bunch of knives on the floor, nails on the floor and stuff like that. She ends up like stepping on one, which was very painful looking. So, like I said, Ghost shows Evan his face, kills him, rips his face off. Nathan finds Harper's ring. Harper's in that knife room. She steps on a spike, that was a really good scene with Harper. Nathan does manage to make it to the roof. And we see that before, when he had that little fight, he had managed to get the only working phone, which was Harper's, and he actually turned on the locator because he knew she had told them that, Sam had been following them. So he turns on the locator device, which Sam, who is looking for her, picks up on his phone, and he's on the way. Now, so Nathan makes it to the room to the roof. She steps on the spikes. Nathan and Ghost have the big tussle. He activates Harper's location on the mobile. Sam is now coming because he can, know where they're at. It's the same way that boy that killed his mom and dad and cut him up, his girlfriend Kat, she had the Instagram or whatever it is, the location thing, and she was able to take it to the police and showed where he was at the river, which then led to the discovering of the mom's body. That's some true crime stuff for you. So Sam is coming using that same location app. Now, Harper finds an escape room. She must find the key. She hides under, which she finally does. She's hiding under the bed when the devil comes in. She ends up managing to stab him in the eye with we see some flashbacks of her childhood and stuff. So she manages to stab him in the eye with the key. She starts putting the key into the door, and the door activates, which was a really cool door. I mean, if you could have that door at your house, where it did all that cool mechanical stuff when you put the key in and unlocked it, that would be cool. So she's standing there though, and you hear the Jack in the Box theme, and she gets actually shot, thankfully only in the shoulder, because there's a shotgun at the end that at the end of each one of those Pop Goes the Weasel, it fires off a round. So she gets shot with that. She does manage to get down there towards the end. The devil jumps on her and is strangling her. She manages to, listening to that song, she manages to push him up right at the right time for that shotgun to blow his head off. So, one down. You had kept seeing this fifth one look like a zombie. Now, you had kept seeing this fifth one, but you just thought it was one of them. But they then made it go down to that hall where Harper was. And she is so scared and freaked out at another masked creature that she stabs it with a pitchfork. And it turns out to be Bailey, whom she kills. And that was like a really sad, fucked up thing. Sam does arrive. You could tell from the first moment he needed to be killed as well. but you were kind of hoping that at least for now he would like rescue them. But he ends up having a face-off with the clown and is killed by the clown in a very, very nasty way. What did you do? He killed him with a sledgehammer, like bashed his skull in. So Nathan then finds Harper. Nathan kills the chainsaw guy, which was a good kill. He knocks out Ghost. And then they manage to get to the roof where they have a like little showdown. Harper had managed to get to the roof while he was doing that. And then when she gets up there, she has like this showdown with the witch. However, her and Nate, when he shows up, Nathan, he shows up, pulls her down. They bash her head in with the door. And that was pretty good. So the clown then sets the place alight. So you're like, I guess that was like their, if shit goes wrong, do this. Because the clown is pretty much the only one that's left. I mean, everybody else has been killed. And Ghost was knocked out. But it didn't show him escape when that place went up in flames. So he sets the place alight. They don't have the keys to the car, but Nathan grabs the bat. Oh yeah, that's when he kills Ghost. Okay. So Ghost got out. So they run for the fence, and that's where Nathan finally kills Ghost for good, because he does a home run swing on that bitch. And nobody could live through that. So they make it to the road where they see Sam's truck, where he had came. So Kismet was on their side at that moment. And they get rescued. And she, is going to see her mom in a dream. So that was a pretty cool dream sequence. And then when she wakes up, Nathan is fine. The nurse tells her she's fine. They just need her to sign a release. Now, I don't know if Natalie, I had to do it one more time. I don't know if Harper, they really should have named the bitch Harper, obviously. I mean, they really should have named her Natalie, because I can't do Harper. So she obviously knew something was up. I think she knew something was up with the release forms, because she put down her address and everything, and she actually tricks the clown into coming, and she's got the whole house set up in traps, just like they did. He walks in and he steps on this sticky paper, which he can barely get up, and then she ends up, coming up behind him. Well, didn't he like stepped on a spike as well, just like she did, so that was good payback. And then she came up behind him and was like, let's take off your mask, and then she blows his face off with a shotgun. So, I don't know, was there anyone left for a sequel? Because a sequel would be really good, but the clown's dead, everybody's dead. That whole bunch was dead. I don't really see anybody that could have escaped. So I don't know if there's a good setup for a sequel. Well, there's not a good setup for a sequel. But I'm sure with movie magic, they could pull something out of their ass to do so. So I gave this movie an 8 out of 10. I really, really love Haunt. It really fits well. I mean, it's really cool to see that they can still make a good tropey slasher. A lot of people use words negatively that I don't agree with. They call something a trope, and I'm like, well, do you mean that in a negative way? Because, if you make a chocolate pie with salt instead of sugar, it's going to taste like shit. There's a recipe. There's a recipe for supernatural movies. There's a recipe for slashers. There's a recipe. That's why they call them genres. So, tropes are a good thing. You just use them correctly. You add new ones. You leave them out. You switch them up a little bit. Whatever you do, though, you keep, you might like almonds in your chocolate pie. I do not. The basic recipe stays the same, though. The shit that you add or leave out or substitute is up to you. But, I really loved Haunt when it came out because I was like, that was a really good, just plain old good slasher troped slasher. And it left some out, You really could have showed Nate's ass, that's all I got to say. But you leave some out, it left some in, but it had enough, and I really liked it. I really like that you can do that. I want my slashers to have all the slasher tropes. The best slashers are going to have some extra thrown into the recipe, but they are going to have the recipe the same. And Haunt really does that, There's only so many ways to say tomato. So people who just think that every single movie has to be something completely unique with nothing you've never seen before. Dude, there's hundreds of thousands of movies out there. You are shit out of luck. Because somebody has done something before that you just don't know about, but it's already out there. Okay? Film industry has been going for over 100 years now. Trust me. Somewhere, some way, this thing that you think you've never seen has already been done. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can give me a new Friday the 13th every year. What did I say? As long as the people are pretty and the knives are sharp and you do it like you're supposed to do it. That's all. That's all. I like a slasher, and I want the slasher to be a slasher. Sure, throw me some shit in there. You can throw a little torture porn. You can throw a little this. You can throw a little supernatural. I don't give a shit what you do, as long as you keep the basic recipe. So, yes. That was Haunt. 8 out of 10. Love it. I will be getting the Blu-ray to upgrade this. And I will see you in the next one. Love you, miss you, bye. Always remember, and never forget, you're a very, 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 really very, very special person. And hopefully your name isn't fucking Harper. And I will see you in the next. You're very special, even if you are not a fucking psychotic face clown. It's those people. I just don't get those people. Sometimes I just don't know. But me and my class ring, I love my little emeralds, diamonds. I am royalty. I knew it all along. I even talked my daddy into proving it. Bye-bye.